And we're live.
And we are VWP. And it's weird. It seems like we haven't done this in a couple weeks. Oh, yeah. Missed you guys last week. We had to take a hiatus for reasons that were said 2 weeks ago. But we're back better than ever, baby. As always, I'm Mox. With me, as always, is Ambrose Alley.
Hello, nurse.
And since we're a little later than usual, Metal Matt might not be as late as he normally. Like, we might get through just a little bit of the show before he shows up, but he will be joining us shortly. And some random icon avatar showing up. I'm not. Who's this new person?
Oh, brother, you wish it was new.
That would be Mr. Adam Rice with uh Tegan Knox avatar.
Yes, I decided to finally stop being the fourth unwanted man of the Blue Man Group and
It only
get
took
taken.
me 2 days to walk him through how to do it, but that's a whole different story.
Shut your mouth, you lying sack of shit.
So, how are you guys doing?
We're doing
Well,
okay.
outside of the technical difficulties, I'm doing fantastic. U.S.
Yeah, let's
U.S.
go ahead and
Women's
mention.
National Team put it
Go ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
I was talking about the national team.
Uh,
Put it on Thailand today, 13-0, because once Alex Morgan and the crew get on a roll, you just can't stop them. Plus Thailand sucks.
that was fascinating. You are going in and out, by the way. And for those that don't know, Rice is having some we'll call it technical difficulties. So I almost said she because I'm looking at Tegan Knox. And screw it,
So the only thing you almost
I'm
said.
running with it. Like, she's having some technical difficulties with her computer, so she's going to be using her phone. So if she starts going in and out, like, just bear with us tonight. Um, oh, somebody say something because I'm just looking at the Tegan Knox avatar.
Just say something.
But yes,
To that note,
the United States women's national team, and it became a point like I started feeling bad, like not just for the Thailand women, but like for the entire country of Thailand. Like,
that almost became an international incident.
yeah, I said as much in the forum. There, um, for those that don't know, we're talking about the World Women Cup. It was 3-0 at halftime, ended 13-0. We scored 6 goals within 7 minutes to start the second half. Yeah.
It, I mean, it was fun if you're a fan of Team USA, but
Yeah. Oh, uh, if you're a fan of Thailand or if you just hate the USA, which apparently a lot of people do, oh, that had to be brutal to watch.
that, yeah. So,
But
Mox, I think I know where we want to start tonight.
how perfect Kristen Press is, or
So we can do that in our free time. Uh, let's start with the fact that yesterday, Monday, was unofficially Riot Squad Day.
yes,
For some reason, it all just worked out like this. But over the weekend, Up Up Down Down, which is Xavier Woods' video game YouTube channel, a very popular YouTube channel, by the way, um, reached 1.9 million subscribers. And as a surprise, he released a video he did of the Riot Squad
That's
playing
lightweight
Wheel of
compared to us,
Fortune.
by the way.
Was that?
1.9. That's nothing compared to us.
Yes, we have 19. Um,
Oh,
we were,
I got my decimals all mixed up.
um, they played Wheel of Fortune as if that's relevant. And not only that, did they release that video, the WWE Network also had another episode of Table for Three featuring the Riot Squad.
Well, let's start first that Saturday was Liv Morgan's birthday.
Yeah, and Saturday was Liv Morgan's birthday. Happy 25th birthday to Liv Morgan.
And if that doesn't make me and AA feel old, I don't know what does.
Makes me feel old, and I'm only about 4.5 years older than her. If there was anybody who you could say was the heart and soul of that unit, it's Liv because of the energy she brings.
Yes.
But she's fun but immature. It just all works. But I want this Table for Three to me was one of the most interesting they've done.
But the timing of it makes me want to pound my head up against a brick wall.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. So this was pre-done. This was a shot Table for Three. And
This was
unlike most
taped like before Ruby's injuries. This was a couple months ago. Yeah.
And instead of them doing dinner, they did breakfast, which was a nice little change of pace.
Yes. Because it's the fucking Riot Squad. They do what they want.
Exactly. And then they proceeded to kind of tell some stories. Mox, I know you and the family watched. Am I the only one coming out of this on the other side of this Table for Three going, wow, they really jerk these girls around?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They from the going all the way back to the call up in the 6 weeks thing to
And explain what you mean by the 6 weeks then.
I'm gonna paraphrase here. They that only last 6 weeks, or they only had 6 weeks.
Yeah, basically what Mox is trying to relay there is when the girls got called up. So basically, it began almost like a clusterfuck.
Yes.
The girls get called up, and as we know, they get called up with Mandy and Sonya. So they're flying the girls there, but there seems to be like a travel issue. And oh, by the way, they leave Sarah Logan off the email chain, telling them they're getting called up.
Yeah. Which what the? I mean, this is a billion-dollar corporation. This isn't like the four of us, me, you, AA, and Matt, and one of us accidentally forgetting to include somebody into like, hey, we're gonna go early tonight, or hey, we're not podcasting tonight, or this is a billion-dollar corporation, and you leave somebody out of the loop of what the fuck's going on.
And so they get called up in one of their first nights there as a unit. One of it was Ruby relaying the story. And Ruby said someone basically told them they wouldn't last 6 weeks.
Yes.
So I want to put myself in their shoes. Imagine getting called up to your dream job, wrestling for the biggest wrestling company on the planet, and one of these producers or agents telling you, "Don't worry about anything. You're not going to be like this for long." And now you want me to go do my job to the 100% best of my ability.
As professionals, they didn't name names. I have a guess of who may have said that, and
He's a Bucky Beaver motherfucker.
no, he
That made me
happens
feel better.
to be on Total Divas as the talent,
You
whatever
wouldn't be referring to one Mark Carano, would you?
well, I wasn't gonna name names, but yes,
Oh, I'll name names. I don't care. Come find me, motherfucker. I don't
that
care.
that sounds something straight out of Mark Carano's mouth. It
It
doesn't it?
does.
Doesn't it?
It really, yeah. Because he'll him and all. If none of you have ever seen Mark Carano, he is that motherfucker. Um. So they get into it, and then one of the other interesting stories coming out of this table for three is that apparently, from what they heard, they called those girls up as a team because Vince watched Suicide Squad.
Yes, that was, which kind of makes sense since Alexa was cosplaying her Harley Quinn, and then the squad got called up, and she quit cosplaying Harley Quinn when the squad got called up.
Yeah.
And Liv Morgan took that spot.
I am kind of shocked they let that little bit on. That little piece didn't end up on the editing room floor.
Cutting room floor, sir. Cutting room floor.
Same difference. Same difference. Um, because doesn't that almost fit in exactly to what we've been hearing from people like John Moxley?
Yeah, it's uh, a lot of stuff that has come out, and during our hiatus has been like, Moxley basically said that during his interview. Hey,
We Go ahead.
overall, your thoughts on the squad in general, not specifically yet what we've talked about with this table for three, but do you like the squad, or do we need to find a new owner of VWP?
Hey, I happen to like the squad.
Do you have a favorite member of the three?
Ruby.
Yeah, I
Well,
see that.
yeah.
But let me follow up with you, AA. When you hear these stories, and this isn't the only story we've heard about Vince getting an idea, like from like a movie, watching the Suicide Squad, and thinking he can take from it something, throw it on TV, and it just work. Why do you think Vince takes these get these inspirational notes, these little kernels of an idea, but never truly follows through? Like, does that make a healthy creative process to you?
Oh, definitely not.
It seems to be like I don't know I know AA has Netflix. I don't know if you do, Rice. But like if you hold the icon, or if you hold it on, like it'll give you a little trailer, and it seems to be like he watches trailers of, like he might every once in a while see a trailer or something, like, ooh, I want that, but then has no idea what actually happens in the movie or how the characters work. Like, oh, but
Because
I can, does that make sense?
it makes 100% sense. Because let me ask you, Ruby said in that table for three that she was supposed to be like the Riddler. Liv, obviously, Harley Quinn. But then when they came to Sarah, Ruby said Beast. Now, that wouldn't technically make sense for several reasons, so that I won't get into. But the one biggest one is there was no Beast in the
Yeah,
Suicide Squad.
exactly. It's like he saw a short little trailer without knowing anything. He didn't see the movie. He saw a short little trailer, and in his mind, put those three together and made Sarah a character that doesn't exist in the movie.
And one of our mutual friends, brought up, did they mean Killer Croc?
Oh God! Oh God!
Technically, yes, that's what they meant.
Yeah, but
Sarah is not Killer Croc, okay? Oh God! But it wasn't all things to
but
shit on.
has she ever killed herself a crocodile?
Stop it!
Somebody's
Stop.
got to do it before Matt gets here. Somebody's got to
No,
get the puns
no, they
in.
do not. And yes, I bet she's killed one
Oh,
with her bare hands.
I bet she wrestles them in her fun time. Like that.
Yeah. But we heard stories about how they met.
She's probably got. Oh, I'm not doing that. Fuck it. I'm doing it. She's probably got better wrestling matches out of alligators and crocodiles than she could Lacey Evans.
Yeah, that's going to be another topic of conversation. But we heard stories about how the Riot Squad met. Well, basically that Ruby and Sarah have been friends for a decade prior, because they're from the same area, relatively the same area.
Right. And they work the indies and stuff a lot. Crazy Mary Dobson,
Heidi Lovelace.
how do you like they've known each other for a while.
So really, it was all about how they met Liv.
Right. Like that was.
So I recommend everyone go watch it. Mox, I don't know if there's any other stories you wanted to share from there.
No, you basically covered it, and I think we even covered it at the beginning of the timing of it and what has happened since. Again,
Yeah.
I just want to bang my head up against a wall. Like, what the fuck?
Well, Biff Kensington, our mutual friend from Cateside and one of the fine podcasters from the Los Ingobernables de Podcast Network over on Twitch.
If you say it fast enough, you can't get it wrong.
I know. He basically said it word for word. They literally wrapped up the filming of that table for three and basically went, "Hey, thanks for doing this. Oh, by the way, we're splitting you up." Because the timing had to be relatively all at once.
Yeah, and I don't, not to be devil's advocate, but you have to, with Ruby's injury,
Yes.
that it has to be at least brought up of maybe just maybe things would have not. Probably they still would have moved Liv to SmackDown. I think she's on SmackDown. She's never shown the fuck up since she got moved, but
Oh, God, I hate this fucking wild card. I hate it. It actively makes me angry. Pass one of those my way, by the way. Gee.
that wasn't a cigarette, sir. That was something a little more potent.
Still, you best not be holding on me. Uh,
But
yeah,
yeah, that's it. I love the episode because it's the squad.
right.
But at the same time, I kind of hate watched it because of what has transpired since that was taped. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
Like
total sense.
i- if this would have been done a month or two ago, like it would just have been all the fun and all the joy. But some of that was taken away with what has happened since the filming. The split, Ruby being hurt, just the not being on TV at all, like just.
And oh, by the way, did they
But
do
just to
anything to
keep it
promote
in the
this?
capsule of. Go ahead.
I just want to point before you wrap that up. I just want to point out they did nothing to promote this on television.
No, nothing. This
They
was
didn't.
they promoted it once through a tweet.
They
They
didn't
said,
have Sarah show up on Raw. They didn't have Liv wrestle a match on SmackDown to promote this table for three. They did nothing.
absolutely not. They sent one tweet out. Hey, catch table for three on the network after Raw. That was it. That was it. That's all they did. The girls themselves did more promoting.
Yeah.
I say girls. The women themselves did more promoting of it than WWE's one tweet.
It it's just disheartening
Yeah.
because you become attached to these performers, and then WWE does something, and they take it away from you in some form or fashion, and you just go, "Well, what the fuck am I here for?"
Because in AA, I want you to weigh in on this too. Um, Weekly WWE viewing, um, and this is my opinion, but I want you guys to tell me I'm right. I need that
Okay.
vote of confidence. Um, is so monotonous isn't the right word. It's such a struggle as it is that the small things we do look forward to, and they take that away, or they ruin it in a different way, either running something into the ground or going too far with like what we liked, and then they go like let's turn it up to 11, and no, you could have just left it at 9 or 8 or maybe even 10, but then you went like there's it's so hard to get through weekly TV. There was always like some bright spots, if that makes sense. Like, oh, I can see that, I can't wait for this segment, or this is going to happen later, and they even start taking that away from us.
Uh,
I think. Go ahead.
well, I was searching for the question in there. Um,
Well, is that you guys viewing? I know AA um kind of like quit based on this kind of stuff, but it okay, here's my question. Does that make sense of like we finally find something fun to watch, even if it's for a segment, a few minutes of a 3-hour show, and they still fuck that up too eventually?
I agree.
it's grindy. It's just it grinds on you, and then you'll get like the 24/7 title segment, which is already the best thing the company does.
Yes, but just give it time. They're already
They'll,
trying to ruin it. Just give it time.
uh, the squad were fun. The The stuff they're doing with
Firefly.
Bailey's character has been great.
Yes.
Firefly Funhouse should the Firefly Funhouse should win this damn company an Emmy. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
Um.
okay. Since you said I didn't actually pose a question, when it comes to, because you're saying things that are more current than, um, do you look at it with a side eye of just waiting for how long before they fuck it up, because you know they're
Well,
going to?
look what happened during our hiatus, and I know we don't want to 100% jump into WWE because Matt's not here yet, but look what they did in a couple weeks span with the Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Becky Lynch stuff. They've gone from running this cool little who's playing who between Nikki and Alexa. Then they added Becky as Becky sort of being like a mentor, hey kid, let me show you how it's done thing, with Nikki kind of eyeing the title. And
Yes.
so we have this cool little three-way thing. No, not in that way, Mox. Um,
I wasn't gonna.
No,
but
but
you're
I
thinking,
was.
I know.
see?
Of course, AA was.
Which,
And
hey,
of
good.
course, what happens? What happens?
Well, they have a match with the Iconics.
They
They
fucking ruin
have
it.
it, and it's not what the Iconics did. Although they once
No,
again
no,
was
no,
a
no,
great
no.
match, but the character stuff in it was fantastic. Billy Peyton, or I forget who shoved Alexa into her coffee that was spilled. Which, by the way, Alexa Bliss is now a barista. I don't get it, but all right. Um, she was wearing white pants, and they push her in the coffee, so she's got a huge coffee stain on her ass, and Alexa looks so dejected just sitting there, which, by the way, for all of Alexa's faults, still one of the best emotionally projecting characters they
Yes,
have.
yes.
She sells emotion in her face better than almost anybody.
I name a better person that can emote with facial expressions in the WWE above Alexa Bliss.
This will piss
Without saying,
Alexa off, but maybe Sasha. But that'd be it.
uh, yeah, she's in yeah, contention.
Um,
But
there's some other girls that
sorry, go ahead.
there are some other girls in NXT I think who could do it, but Alexa's really just really good at selling that emotion of being either embarrassed or saddened or pissed,
Scared,
scared.
scared.
Um,
Yeah,
she does
without saying a
scared really
word,
well.
just yeah, she does. If you don't
But
remember her turning around from a year and a half or so ago, and Nia Jax being in the ring, and she didn't, just the look on her face,
and she
like,
screamed and everyone laughed. It was really she's good at those little character moments. And this was another one of those times when she was really good in character for the 10 seconds that she had to be on camera sitting in that coffee. And then when the match
yeah,
ends between Becky and Nikki, and the Iconics are trying to beat down Nikki, Alexa comes in and hits a drop kick on the back of Billy. What does the crowd do? Crowd
uh,
pops. Crowd popped because Alexa did something that inherently a baby face would do. And let's put this little thing to bed. The crowd wants Alexa Bliss to turn face. They're
Well, yeah.
asking for it. What is the company?
They and we've been asking.
Yes, we've been begging. Do something else with this girl. You're making her staler than 3-week-old white bread.
Hey, that makes pretty good toast, though. By the way,
It's
grilled
pretty good
cheese.
bread pudding. Uh,
Yeah, but
but what do they do the very next night?
yeah, and here we go.
They ruin it because the person who just 24 hours before was getting a babyface pop is now a heel on SmackDown in a triple threat between Lacey and Charlotte to challenge Bayley at Stomping Ground. No, there's a new match at Stomping Ground, isn't there? I'm so fucking confused. I don't know which way's up. But to challenge Bayley for a SmackDown title shot, and she wins. So we can have this redemption arc with Bayley and Alexa, and then we have Nikki still being a babyface, and they explain it away by Nikki saying, "Well, you've always been cool with me, so I still like you." What are we doing?
That
What
makes no. I, this is what I was trying to say on the. It's so hard to the weekly TV programming, um, especially if you watch both. And this is a very
Yeah.
good instance. If you would have just watched Raw and the quote unquote face thing that Alexa did, so be it. But then if you also watch SmackDown, it's mind boggling what the, and that goes back to a point you said a few minutes ago. Fuck this wild card rule. This is the dumb. It's I guess I get why they're trying to do it, what they're doing, and I know it's from a USA network thing, but the sooner this wild card stuff ends, the better.
Allie,
Oh,
why? I'm
I
sorry, I
thought I
wanted
heard
to
a
ask you.
chair. I thought I heard a
It's
chair.
my,
I thought Matt.
it's
Okay.
my chair. Allie, I wanted
Oh,
to ask you a question.
gimmick infringement.
Yeah. You still there, Miss Allie?
I'm still here.
Okay. Why is consistency hard for this company?
Because they have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Uh, that's if I was gonna. Yeah, it's the same thing. Too many riders. I know people say it's all Vince. Vince, and this is on record. Vince only does certain storylines. The rest of the storylines are pretty much left to the writers. And I think a couple weeks ago, an article came out. 26 or 36 writers they have on hand. That's
Well,
too. Go ahead.
it's too many, but here's the thing. Mox, Allie, and myself, we all like food. We all like to go out to eat sometime, right?
I don't eat
Yeah.
food. Food takes away from the earth. I don't eat food. Nope.
Go tie yourself to a tree. Um, it,
Who says I'm
so,
not podcasting from there?
okay, good point. Fucking technology. All right. So when you go out to a restaurant, do you think there's only one chef there in the kitchen cooking up food for a restaurant of 50 or 60 people? No, logically, because that's a lot of work and he needs help back there. So he
Right.
has line chefs and sous chefs and runners and waiters, and then There's the whole. It's a giant machine in a kitchen.
Yes.
Yes, but
But
there's
there's
still one on the top who makes sure everything goes out
Right.
fine.
The head chef.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going. But there's still one guy who makes sure every plate of food is exactly the way that plate of food should look. And he critiques and he critiques and he edits and he makes sure every plate of pasta, fish, steak, whatever goes out the way it was supposed to be cooked with all the different specifications and any additional requests made by the customer.
Right.
So if the writers are the sous chefs and the line cooks in this analogy, that would make Vince that head chef, the executive chef, right?
And that's where I find fault in the analogy.
But here's where I'm going with the analogy. The guy who's supposed to be doing that editing is all of a sudden becoming very hyper focused on one thing. And because he's hyper focused on that one thing, he's letting other mistakes get out of the kitchen.
Because I don't think he's as much as the last person to check the dish before it leaves the kitchen. That might be what you're trying to say. I think in a varying degree that a lot of stuff is left to the sous chefs and the line cooks to worry about their own, and it's just going to go out how it goes out.
And therein lies the problem.
That's okay. So we're saying basically saying the same thing.
Yes, he's
Okay.
become hyper focused on something. Or over to use a better example, he's become disinterested in this part of his business. Vince, for as long as Vince has run the company, he's always been an editor.
Right.
He might have an idea or two, but he's always been an editor. He overlooks things to make sure certain things work. And
And,
because now that he's in different places, it seems. I've personally speculated about his mental health, but another thing entirely. It
and we
he's
know
letting
for a
people
fact
go
that
to his
he's not.
kitchen and he's good.
All,
Basic.
we know for a fact he's not always at TV anymore either. He does a
Right.
lot of conference calls, and
But
you can't look at a steak being served on the plate to make sure the plate's wiped down and this is what was ordered um, through a phone. You have to
well,
be there, and I know I'm not making sense. And by the way, like always, medicine's hitting. So if I start rambling, just tell me to shut up. Um,
okay.
he's not quite the micromanager that people make him out to be.
I think he's still a taskmaster,
Absolutely, a taskmaster
but
and micromanager aren't the same.
here's what I think. I think Vince has become the big time celebrity chef. He's not there every day in his restaurant making sure those things are being done. So
Right,
he's left to somebody else. And
right.
somebody else is allowing this stuff to happen, but Vince is still the guy who's. If the buck stops with Vince McMahon, I
And
don't
that's
care if he's there every day.
and I
It's
love that analogy because you have celebrity chefs that open multiple restaurants. They can't be at all those multiple restaurants at once. But what they can do, and what the successful ones do, Gordon Ramsay, for instance, um, he makes sure that the restaurants, because sometimes Gordon's not at any of his restaurants on any given day,
right.
that there's a person in charge that sees things to his standards.
The issue where
It,
the analogy goes apart, but go ahead.
but then you have, I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but there's celebrity chefs that open multiple restaurants and do it for the money, and my name's on this restaurant, and you can tell because the standards aren't being upheld on these restaurants that celebrity chef's not at, and you're getting raw chicken and overcooked steak and shit, and they end up going under.
Vince, but here's my follow part to that. Even though Vince isn't there every day, he's still sending back notes like he is.
Yes.
And not only is he sending back notes, he's sending back notes that are almost borderline degrading to someone's intelligence.
Right.
Like when Mox explained in his interview, he got a note back saying Mox has to understand why he would say these things.
Yeah.
That is so insulting to a professional wrestler.
That insulted the shit out of me that he would send me that note and tell me that I need to understand how to podcast like that. Man.
So the critiquing has now become to a point where it's clear either Triple H, who has official power in the company, either he has some hands-on control or he doesn't. And that's where some of that also falls for me. Vince is ready to retire in the restaurant business. We're going to keep with this analogy a little bit. He has a hand-picked successor. 2 of them, actually. But the 2 successors can't make any changes because the boss hasn't retired yet.
And I will take this, and we can move on from this analogy.
Yes.
I take this a step further of when you say the 2 successors, I know one you're referring to Triple H. Is the other one you're referring to Steph?
Yes.
Okay. The problem also lies in he puts too much credence into what is basically a line cook or a server in people like Michael P.S. Hayes and
Yes.
Road Dogg, that he gives them too much credence. He gives them too much when they're like, leave them with doing this little job of washing the dishes or being the end of the line cook, and not so much.
Or in the case of Road Dogg, changing the menu 2 hours before the open.
Oh. And as somebody that's, I've gone to culinary school, and part of culinary school is you have to do restaurant stuff. Plus, I've also worked restaurants. And they would pull that shit of, like, the chef makes the menu, so here's your menu for the night. And that's and we're not talking like a Chili's, or where the menu's the menu and it's a big ass menu. Um, upper class might not be the, but some restaurants have the menu of the day, and that's what you order off of. You don't order, and it's literally called ordering off the menu. You don't fucking do that. So you have, okay, here's the menu. Okay, here's the menu. So this is what I can work with, and this is what we're gonna do with it. And then the head chef comes in. Nope, here we're gonna go with this menu, like right before the dinner rush. Like, what the fuck? Because you have to prep everything in the restaurant business. You have to prep your vegetables. You have to prep your meat. You have to prep. And then all of a sudden you come in and say, no, we're going to switch the menu all the way up. And you have all this shit prepped for the menu you gave that morning. You have, everything prepped, ready to go for dinner rush. And then 2 hours before dinner rush, no, we're going to scrap that. Here's the menu we're going to serve for dinner. and you have nothing prepped. You're flying off the whim of your pants. And yeah, shit's gonna go wrong real quick.
And then you get blamed because the head chef made the changes.
Yes.
And you can't handle it anymore. And that's what happened with Road Dogg. He
Yes.
finally said, I can't fucking do this anymore. I
Yes.
can't sit here and wait on the whims of a 74-year-old man to make up his mind where he wants the Uzi Hot segment.
Right. And the blame starts at the starts from the waiters, waitresses, then it goes to and it goes all the way to the top. It's damn, we have for real used this analogy to death, but that's the waiter, the waitress are the first ones to blame when their food's not right.
Yeah, the
Then that
workers get blamed for a shit segment, and then the people go, well, those two people are really good, so I wonder if it's the agenting. And then it goes,
yeah,
well, maybe it is the agenting. What if it was produced wrong? But what if it was just a shitty written segment? And then it goes up and up to the point now where you're blaming Vince for a 15-minute thing of Raw. And yes, some of that's unfair, but it's also might be because the guy at the end of the chain decided that's what he wanted a half hour before the show's supposed to begin.
right. And
So
some people can a lot of people take it out on the here we're going to use performers as the waiter waitresses. A lot of people take it out on the waiter or waitress of that their food's messed up and it's their fault. Just like we're saying, it's the performer's fault, and when it's not, they're working with what they were given. Like they didn't make the food, they didn't make the menu, they just brought it to you. They're the ones that were on the TV doing the segment that they were told to do. We got to move on from this analogy.
we do well. We can move on to something else before we get into heavy what we missed. Or do you just want to get into the WWE talking now, even though Matt's not here yet?
Matt said he probably won't be able to make it tonight. That he got stuck at work late, and it's probably too late. I said, "Well, hurry up and join us for a few minutes." He said, "No, you guys can finish without me." He'll definitely be on tomorrow night, and then he's off until next Thursday. So we can talk about other things, and then maybe do. I mean, we can talk about some more WWE stuff since we have 2 weeks to cover. But I know he's some things he specifically wanted to talk about from last week and this week that we can save for tomorrow night if that's cool with you guys, and then we can just talk about other things.
Let's move on to another part. Let's go ahead and just stick with WWE some things. One constant over the past 2 weeks has been the blatant over pushing of Lacey Evans.
Good God.
She ain't ready, guys. She's the furthest thing from ready.
She's miscast for one. I brought that up on a podcast, a month ago?
Mm-hmm.
About she's miscast. You remember that pod?
Yeah.
About a ex-Marine, a mom, I guess to a lot of people, a decent-looking woman. Everything about her screams babyface. Even if you want to be, quote unquote, lady, she's miscast to begin with.
Yes.
And then to call her up and literally start giving her Charlotte 2.0 booking of I'm always here, I'm always at the top, I'm fighting for championships. I don't have the words to describe my feelings about Lacey Evans at the moment because it's It's maddening when you do have people. Yes, she's injured at the moment, but you do have people like a Ruby Riot backstage. You do have your Liv Morgans. You do have your Sarah Logans. You do have your Sonya Deville's.
Who, by the way, tonight had a good little match with Carmella. Had a good little match with Carmella. And I don't know if she's going to have anything to show for it come next week because I just don't know with this company. But the Naomi, my God, Naomi's a vet of this company.
You have Naomi backstage. Let's throw Natalia in there.
Yes, Natty to some degree too, but we all know what we're going to get out of Natty. But the thing is, what we're going to get out of Natty is far and away better than anything Lacey Evans can give me right now.
Trust me, I said it begrudgingly, but still, I mean, Natty would get better than what the. And this goes to what we were saying during the restaurant analogy stuff of Vent. What?
We're going to drive this into the ground, aren't we?
No, just well, it got brought up during the analogy. I'm not going to use another restaurant analogy, but Vince and like a pet project, if you will, and this is what Vince is. This is the restaurant he's working at, and this is the main course of the night, and it's gonna what do you recommend tonight when the waiter comes up to your table? Lacey Evans. I tried the Lacey Evans tonight. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and then people order it, and like that's shit.
But the next time you come, hey, what should I order? Well, the Lacey Evans is our main dish, one of our main dishes tonight. Well, that was shitty, and I was told you so. Why is it still on the menu? Well, the chef loves the ingredients. I don't give a shit if the chef loves the fucking ingredients. The ingredients are stale.
Okay, so
I use the analogy.
I know, but when an analogy works the way it does, it works. You can even use in a different analogy of ordering a medium well steak and getting a done steak.
Well done steak with ketchup.
Sir, that's just
wrong.
Yeah. Or ordering the steak and getting the trout.
Can we talk also in reference to Lacey Evans?
Well, AA, I know, again, you've taken a break from the weekly, but I think you still catch clips here and there. Your thoughts on Lacey? What little bit you've seen of her? Did we lose AA?
Nope.
Oh. Or do you is that your thoughts? Like you have?
I really have no thoughts on it. It's WWE.
Yeah. It mocks the women's right.
What?
She can't hit it. She can't throw a punch.
I don't get it.
Did you see that weak ass attempt she gave it for Bailey last night?
I don't.
Forced Bailey to sell that shit.
It wasn't quite as bad as Ronda's two punch and backswing that she missed both of, and wasn't it Bailey? Ruby, yeah, and Ruby sold death, and Ronda didn't touch her once. It wasn't quite that bad, but it's pretty bad. And they don't bring this up anymore on television. But remember, there was a rule of closed fist.
Yeah.
Like you can't use closed fist. There's a reason for that. if you use an open fist, oh, and when I say open, like your knuckles aren't clenched, an open fist, and you accidentally connect a little too hard, it's not going to hurt that bad. And I don't know why all of a sudden that's been like scrapped from.
I'll tell you when it happened. Because you can go back and watch tape for when it happened. 2008 is when they stopped making that a rule. At the same time, the Big Show was working the knockout punches as finish.
But even he would use an open fist.
Yeah, but it was close. It was close. I mean, there wasn't much air there, but
Well,
that's when they scrapped it. That's when they killed the rule.
And speaking of, fucking Big Show missed half of his. The Miz getting knocked out by air is still one of the best gifs of all. Miz just, I'm out cold.
Well, because if a 450-pound man legitimately hits you with his fist,
well, yeah, you're getting knocked the hell out.
You'd be dead. I mean,
but my point being is the worked fist, because all of a sudden we have this wave of people using punches and fists, not just as finishers, but as signature stuff during a match. That, like Shane. And Shane does, do open fists. Shane just sucks at throwing punches.
I would beg Shane McMahon to punch me in the face. I'd rather you punch me in the face as hard as you fucking can than to do that. Whatever that thing he does is, that shadow boxing bullshit, hit me.
Yeah.
Hit me.
I don't. But I'm saying more. And do I dare say this at Fireman6809? The women doing it are are seem to be far worse when it's supposed to be like a big striking blow. Lacey Evans, number one on the list, but like punching somebody in the face. Either they miss or like and I'm doing this like you guys can see me. If I have my fist open where you can like put a hot dog through my.
Whoa.
You shut up, perv. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I actually connect. You're gonna feel it a little bit, but you're not risking concussions or knocking a tooth out. I don't. And why the women's Lacey Evans just needs. There's been so many times we called up too soon, called up too soon, called up too soon. Lacey Evans is the epitome of not just called up too soon, because that's fact. Flat out called up and pushed too soon.
She's not just called up too soon. She's flat out not ready. She's just not ready.
And here's the thing. I'm pretty optimistic when it comes to giving people time, letting them develop. I don't think she just does not come across as somebody that will ever get it and probably won't be in WWE for very long. And
Does,
again, this is referring to a 74-year-old man who sees Charlotte 2.0 in her, tall, long, blonde, leggy.
Southern.
But even he's gonna like. She doesn't get the heat. She doesn't. There's just nothing there.
If you're going to use a punch as your finish, you have to know how to throw it. You have to look like somebody who, if they threw that punch, it would result in that outcome.
Yeah.
And three, you better not use that fist for anything other than that finish.
Right. You can continuously use it throughout the match. As
What is
mid-match.
Mox? We're going to go in the Wayback Machine a little bit here, so let's jump in the DeLorean real quick. Who has the most famous worked punch finish?
The most famous worked punch finish?
Yeah.
Besides Mike Tyson?
Oh, shit. In wrestling, sir.
There's a few. How far back are we going?
Back to Croc.
I'm back to Crockett. AA snoring on us.
You want to do it, or do you want me to?
AA. Yep, that is definitely snoring.
Allie. Folks, we did it again.
Yeah. Who were you thinking?
Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Oh yeah, Garvin's was.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Was great.
Did she fall out of the chair? But he worked that gimmick, hands of stone, Ronnie Garvin. And I know I've talked about this before, but Garvin would have that fist taped up, and then he would never use that hand.
Yeah.
Anything other than when it came time to throw the punch, he'd throw it. That's the end of the match.
That was it.
Or if you want to go further back, Ox Baker.
Yeah. Yes. And a lot of times, Ox's looked shoot. That's how good he was. Like, and a couple times it may have been shoot, but
yeah,
Ox could and make it look like, oh, can we get some EMTs out here? Or just go and call the coroner because he did.
Right. Ox would do some shit with his hands, some sort of like motion, and then all of a sudden he'd rear back, bam, hurt punch, done. Lacey had to do that.
AC. Hey, you with us?
I'm with you.
Okay. I sent a text. I even heard her phone go off in the background.
So she doesn't do that, and it detracts from what she's trying to do.
Yeah, it detracts from so much of. It's one of the many points of why she shouldn't be on the main roster and in the position she's in.
Did you see her sandbag Bailey?
Yeah.
Y'all, she didn't even get a foot up off the ground. In the dark match, it was Lacey Evans versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Becky wins. After the match, Lacey goes to beat down Becky. Bailey makes the save in her hometown. Well, not the dark match or the house show. Either way.
House show.
Okay. Bailey makes the save. goes to lift Lacey for the Bailey to belly. One whole foot never left the ground. It's like Bailey just threw her.
And see, this is where you need to. Damn it! I can't. I don't like keeping using this analogy, but the restaurant thing, like having two chefs, sometimes isn't a bad thing. Where you can tell somebody, dude, nobody likes this meal. Take it off the menu.
It's just not
Does that
good.
make sense? You
No,
should, yeah. This
I
we're
I'm
gonna
just
put.
done on this, Evans.
I think we talked
Um,
about so much food that AA got full and fell asleep again.
um, there's so much WWE that we need to talk about that I actually do want to take a moment to talk about the step away from it. We'll
You
get
want
back
to?
to, we'll get back to WWE and move over to one of this podcast's favorite wrestlers who, during our hiatus, made his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut.
Wake up, AA.
I'm awake.
Well, we're talking about Moxley.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, this past Wednesday, Jon Moxley made his first appearance for the number one promotion in Japanese wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, in a match for the IWGP United States Championship against one of Mox's favorite wrestlers, Juice Robinson.
Oh, fuck
And
knuckle.
and they had a little brawl, didn't they, Mox?
Yeah, they. What's Moxley? Moxley actually made fuck knuckle look entertaining for a few minutes.
He's always entertaining, hater. A
Uh,
new look, a new look, Juice Robinson, by the way.
yeah, that was different.
He cut the dreads. I,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
don't,
why.
I don't. Still fuck knuckle. Uh, um, Juice Robinson, the fuck knuckle reference is somewhat a term of endearment. Unlike he who shall not be named, that I call fuck canoe, is literally fuck you, you piece of shit. His initials are ME. Used to wrestle in New Japan. Now he went to Impact. You can guess who it is. Um, but yeah, Battle Super Juniors, like always, did a little preview before it started a couple weeks ago here. Like always, delivered. Like this was a. I didn't like all of the outcomes, but
Well, let's
damn it
first
if it.
get to the United States Championship match here because that was one of the big matches during our hiatus. Because it was Jon Moxley going to New Japan, having this opportunity against Juice Robinson. They had a great little. This match has been the Dean Ambrose slash Jon Moxley we've missed from WWE television for a long time. He looked
Yes,
energized. He looked engaged. Everything
because
just
let's be
looked.
honest, him showing up at Double or Nothing wasn't a match. He just showed up at the end and kicked ass. And this was an actual match. And this is like you said, what we've been missing and wanting and waiting for. At least AA and I. This was kick ass. Jon Moxley kicking ass.
Got a little color juice did. Juice.
Don't mess with Moxley.
And the end result of all this was
Did you
the,
so? Are you talking about just this match, or you get into the
This
final?
match, we'll get the other thing. Um, John Moxley is the new United States champion in New Japan.
Yay.
I
Allie, I want to come to Allie real quick. Allie, did you see the match?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Your initial reaction to his first night in New Japan, he's walked out a champion.
Loved it.
I'll send you
Please,
now that Moxley, because he later in the week, like just 2 days ago, comes back. I think you're one of the few people that, and I know I say this on air, and Rice gives me shit all the time. I'll send you my password where you can see his debut match, and he shows up later during Dominion and actually has another match. But if he's the IWGP United States champion, apparently he's going to be there for a while. I'm assuming at least till AEW gets on TNT.
for
So
October. So, Mox, I have to now ask you a question.
ask away.
Moxley's the United States champion.
Yes.
He cut a promo the other night asking her that he wants to be in the G1 tournament.
It's the G1 climax, sir, but continue.
It's the same difference. Leave me alone.
We were skipping
What?
ahead of shows.
A little bit. But I did say over this course of the time we were gone, Moxley cut a promo asking to be inserted in the G1 climax. What city does the G1 start in this year?
You guys might want to turn your volume down a little bit just because I'm about to mark the fuck out. I get to see fucking John Moxley and the G1 climax in New Japan. Holy fucking shit, am I not stoked? Unfortunately, for reasons, one of the reasons why we took a hiatus last week. I had second row tickets. I sold those for some tickets a little further back before all this. But holy fucking shit, Mox and Mox are going to be in the same building at the same time.
There's no way he's not at Dallas.
Oh, he's got it. That's the first night. He's going to be in Dallas. I know the card isn't announced. There's a chance he won't be at night one. 99% sure he's going to be in Dallas G1 Climax night one. I'm he better be. And I want him. Don't put him against uh another Gasian, like a Juice or Jay White. Give me Moxley versus Ishii. Give me Moxley versus Suzuki. Something.
I don't care. You know what? Opening night, G1, give me Moxley Okada. Give me Moxley Tanahashi.
Shit. Give me Moxley versus a top New Japan actual Japanese star. I'm happy. I'm going to be happy anyway because I get to see Moxley.
I don't care. I don't need to see Moxley versus Gaijin of the week. I don't.
No.
I want something I know I will never see again.
Yes.
And
the tickets I sold to a friend who said if I can find, if I wanted to, I could trade back. My because I had to buy 5 tickets. My seats for my current seats back for the second row, and just pay the difference. But I'm actually tempted to, like, hey, just can I sit with you for this match? I'll sit in your lap.
I don't care. I want to be up close for this. But we will get to the end of the best of the Super Juniors.
Why the fuck do we have to?
Shindo Takagi was the winner of his block, and what was one of the big surprises of the uh, BOSJ.
Kinda. They were leading. They've been building Shingo up
He's asleep
for a
again.
few months. Hey,
Yo.
hey. we're talking about Moxley.
If you can't stay away from Moxley, then we just might as well pack up and go home.
I can stay awake.
You've had a long day.
Yeah.
And my hands are
But
falling asleep.
uh, just
Uh,
go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off.
and the
Fuck
winner of the other block, and the eventual winner after a fantastic match,
dipshit.
uh, Will Ospreay is
Dipshit.
your winner of the 2019 Best of the Super Junior tournament. Two-time winner now. Back to
Dipshit.
back winner, is he not?
No.
Okay.
17
I
and
know
19.
17 to 90. Okay, so a couple years in between. Um,
For those that don't get why I don't like this and I call him dipshit,
he's a kind of a dipshit.
he's an asshole for one. His wrestling style, I know he's the quote unquote aerial assassin, and his wrestling itself doesn't do much for me, and he is a straight misogynistic asshole.
He,
So
yeah,
I'm not a fan.
there's no, let me just say, put that this way. There's no doubt the man's athletic as all hell, and there's some things he can do I've never seen people do before. Uh, I'm not as thrilled with his social media stuff. Uh, his actions earlier this year regarding one Miss Sadie Gibbs.
Who, by the way, got signed by AEW. So how do you like that, Mister Dipshit?
Um, there have been other rumors about how him and I don't like dragging her into this, but his significant other sometimes conduct themselves in the back regarding the wrestling world and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I and Brute and I, good friend of the podcast, good friend of all of ours. Brute begrudgingly um, picked Osprey to win.
And I think based on this win alone, because this conversation came up on another podcast, he might be the front runner for Wrestler of the Year.
Fuck you.
Tell me who besides him at this to this point in time.
Well, you have the person that finally slayed the beast at WrestleMania 35. You have
You well, I'm talking.
Morris and I have wrestled plenty of matches on the mattress in the living
Oh
room.
God, you're the worst.
I wrestled a bag of trash into the trash bin.
You're nothing but a hater, man.
AA's wrestling to stay awake. I mean, there's so many that could go before Osprey.
Osprey is a candidate for Observer Wrestler of the Year. Uh, to this
And
point,
I'm not a complete hater. Like I appreciate what the man can do, and I don't agree. He's wrestler of the year mid year awards. He's up there. But no,
um,
Consuelos, no.
No, no.
So, yeah, Jackass
And we're
wins. Battle of Super Juniors. Joy.
likely going to get him in the G1 too.
Oh, yeah, he's. No. Uh, he might have a match, but not in the G1.
I know he's campaigning for it. I know he wants to quote unquote move up to heavyweight. So I know he wants it.
Some things would have to happen real quick for him to move up class. For
Well,
one, he would.
all I'm going to say is I don't think he'll be successful in his championship match, and so because I think that's going to go in another direction. So I think after he gets that match, he'll be clear to be in the G1.
What match are you talking about?
Well, doesn't the best of the Super Junior winner get a title match with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion?
Yeah, and that's already happened, and I'm about to get to that card before we lose AA, and it's going on midnight your time.
Yeah.
Anything else? Battle Super Juniors, check it out because it's always fantastic.
Always
The
a
win.
big time of year. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much like it in wrestling. Yes, it's multi-day, 2 week event. But man, they put on a good show every year. Which brings us, unless you had any other closing.
No, just because it's related to the juniors, I do want to bring up the big news that dropped this past week, or actually just yesterday. Um, the return of the Super J Cup.
Yes, and they're streaming that on shit. Not only is the Super J Cup returning, it's streaming or will be on shit. What channel?
Access.
Access. Yes, and live. Not like you have to wait. They're gonna do it live on Access.
And also, programming note, I don't know when it starts. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Best Super Juniors, before I get to that next little bit, um, it will take place in the United States. The
Yes,
Best
two
will
in
take place in
California and one in
Washington.
Washington. Yeah,
It'll be in Tacoma.
Tacoma. Yeah.
So the Best of the Super Juniors are coming to the States. It will also be partially produced by the
No,
legendary Jushin Thunder Liger.
not the best of the Super Juniors. The J Cup.
The J Cup, I'm sorry, yes. J Cup coming to the United States, produced by Jushin Liger. I don't know any better recipe than that. So
For those that don't know, we brought it up on the podcast before. This is Junior Jushin is retiring. His last match will be at Wrestle Kingdom 14 next year. Um, and so this is a hell of a way of like his parting. Yeah.
he'll be moving into his new career, it sounds like, being a producer.
And
Um,
I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it.
and programming note for those of you who have access television. It has been announced that Access TV's wrestling block of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Women of Wrestling will be moving to a new day of the week, Saturdays. And with this move to Saturdays, it will actually make the downtime between the event and the airings on the Access shorter.
Yes.
So we will then start to get events airing in a more timely fashion.
Only the
Um,
insects stay behind glass.
Women of Wrestling on Access is always a new episode because they're taped anyway. Um,
Yep.
but now apparently with the Saturday move for New Japan, what happens on the previous week usually Fridays, will happen the very next day instead of having to wait a week or a couple of weeks. So,
They
for
won't,
those of
they
you that
won't
don't
be a
have
month
World,
behind anymore, basically.
yeah, for those of you that don't have New Japan World, like the cool people like myself, I just had a segment. You guys don't have, excuse me, have to wait forever to see some of the
What
show.
happened recently? Yeah, but Mox, take us to the Dominion card.
Okay, we start with familiar names. Some new guy, John Maxley. Um,
Maxi P.
Get it right.
sir, John Moxley and Shota Umano, who, for those that don't know, Shota is a young lion. He's an up and comer in New Japan. And for those that don't know how young lions work, they're not, it's kind of like an NXT thing. They're not on the main roster. They have to work their way up, then get sent on an excursion and come back to the main roster.
Young
We
Lions, young Lions don't work more like minor league baseball players than they do NXT prospects.
Okay,
Is
that's a better
basically the
comparison.
difference.
There you go. So we open with that match. Moxley goes over Shota. For those that keep up with New Japan, Shota is Red Shoes, who's the referee for the big matches. He's his son. Um, this was basically a squash, which I thought would finally send Shota to excursion so he can come back to the main roster. And then found out today that Shota is going to be working their Australian tour, which still really doesn't take away. He could still be on excursion and come back to the main roster hopefully later this year. Anyway,
This is the ability to move him
uh,
along because
and
you're working with Moxley, so that has to be a sign of something.
yeah, and apparently Moxley wanted this match against Shota, so that speaks volumes. Basically, a
And
squash. Moxley won. I watched this damn thing live because it's Dominion. Um, but Moxley won with the dirty deeds of all things.
yeah,
It,
he's
it,
keeping the DDT. So he's not moving to a new finish. He's keeping the underhook DDT.
and a pretty quick match again for those that don't understand how young lions work. Uh, a newly crowned U.S. champion is not going to lose to a young lion. But pretty much a squash match. After the match, Mox cuts a promo. I cut a promo saying I'm going to be at the G1 Climax field. I'm going to be in the G1 Climax field this year. So all the excitement. Yes, sir.
And then he claimed young Shota as his own.
Yeah, which was kind of I liked it, but I was kind of like, okay.
So apparently Shota is Mox's personal young lion. I don't get it, but okay.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. So, but Shota's been the best young lion for a year and a half now, anyway. So, and which also leads to Moxley might be able to stick in New Japan for we don't know how his AEW contract's structured.
Right.
Um, but after that, we get Tagaji versus Kachuma. Very nothing match. Tagaji goes over. Um, then Shingo, or Shingo Tagaji, who had just made it to the finals of Best of Super Juniors, comes out and also says he's going to be in the G1 Climax. So he's moved up from junior heavyweights to the heavyweight division, which is cool because um, The he's good, and the push they've been giving him has been working. Um, I move on to Jushin Thunder Liger and Yoshihashi against.
Uh,
Go ahead.
he's on his retirement run, and they're giving him Yoshihashi at Dominion.
Oh, he teamed with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
against Suzuki and Zack Sabre.
gee, how did that turn out?
Um, Liger and Yoshihashi won,
Wow, I'm actually shocked.
but not how you expect. The win was by Zack giving the Lacasia to from Tacos on Sabre. So
Oh,
that happened. Then we
yep.
get to like New Japan's notorious for all the 6-man stuff. Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, and Taguchi against Chase Owens, Jay White, and Ishimura. Love me some Bone Soldier. Tanahashi, Robinson, Taguchi go over um, with a Bulldog headlock from Tanahashi to Owens. No surprise there. And just because of personal reasons, one of my favorite matches of the night, Tahishi, your reigning, defending, never open weight championship title holder, faces Ishii. Ishii goes over with a vertical brainbuster. So Ishii is now your new never open weight champion, which I love because I love Ishii. But what the fuck are they doing with the never
The never
championship?
open belt has become meaningless.
It's
There's
basically the 24/7 title. Like the last 9 times it's been defended, it was lost 7. Like it's just
I want them to move Ishii into a title program for the IC title
yes, please.
because I think he would do so well. He's almost on that dad territory, and I
Um,
don't want him to ride off into that particular sunset without having something more for him than the never openweight title. Yes, he's been a tag champion and all that, but that was with Toru Yano, and it was a comedy thing almost.
I've been begging vocally and Brute and I speak a lot. Like, please give Ishii a run. It doesn't have to be the longest run ever. Just give him what is like when WWE give him his ring run. Just give him his
The Gold Watch run, yeah,
yeah. Oh, and go run. See the medicine. Yeah,
yeah.
get.
Huh?
Oh,
What?
did Matt show up? Was that
Yeah,
Matt?
Huh?
Matt
Oh,
showed up.
look. I thought it was too late an hour ago, sir.
Well, I put a Vince McMahon and I changed my mind. Wild card rule.
Oh shit.
You
Well, we're
asshole.
talking about you watch New Japan on
No,
Access,
no, no, no,
so
no. Actually, I'm going to look into my crystal ball. I'm going to make an educated guess that you guys were talking about Dominion.
how long have you been here?
I may have been listening
Your
before I
chair.
logged on here.
Oh, well, your chair didn't let us know. But since I know you watch on Access, these will be spoiled. There's your chair. Well, we're trying to
Well,
avoid
just so you
W.
guys know, the only thing I've been able to watch over the past week was Raw. So
Yeah,
That's more than me.
um, AA made a a Vince decision that we do most of our WWE talk tomorrow when you can be here. So that's why we're talking New Japan. Hey, he's
But
only
I'm here
fallen asleep
now.
twice, so okay. Well, let me run down. I'm almost through with this. Do you mind spoilers for Dominion, Matt?
I don't really mind it, but I prefer it rather well done.
Oh no, he can't already be started.
He has. I know why, because he's scared to face Moors on the Switch again. I know why.
What?
I mean, it's like they always say. It's like they always say: "To the victor goes the spoilers."
Oh God.
Please continue with the card before he continues.
No, honestly, I don't, because he watches on Access and I
Hey,
don't want.
Mox wanted me on. Mox wanted me on badly, so this is what he gets.
Hey, did you end up getting 8 Deluxe, or did they not have it pre-owned?
Not yet.
Okay, I knew
I
you were
think we
gonna
do
check
have
on.
it pre-owned. I'm just gonna save it for a little bit.
Oh, so you can buy everything else except for when it comes to playing a game with my team. Okay, okay, I see how it is.
Well, I don't have enough money on me at the moment.
Oh, if you quit buying the Becky Lynch shirts and the Becky Lynch pops and this game, but no, if I'll
Sure, the
stop.
Becky Lynch pop has not come out yet. I have only purchased one Becky Lynch shirt, but that's a story for another day.
I'll stop with the card because I do
But
know
can we
you.
talk about one thing that came out of Dominion? And it won't be a
No.
spoiler. Okay. And this will be my last topic before I go. At Dominion, there was a match between for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship between champion Kota Ibushi and the leader of Los Ingobernables de Japón.
If you say it fast enough, you can't mess it up.
Yep. Tetsuya Naito. And there was a spot in that match where Naito put Ibushi in a German suplex on the apron and proceeded to, what's the word I'm looking for, Mox?
Try to
Ibushi's neck up.
yeah, try to MDK him. I said this to Brute yesterday. It's getting hard to. It seems like every match Ibushi's in, like it's quickly becoming a please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. Oh, it's getting.
You know what anniversary Dominion fell on?
I didn't understand the question.
The
What
Brown
anniversary?
losing
What?
streak being broken.
What?
None.
Dominion either fell on or was around the
Brown losing streak anniversary.
Yeah, the anniversary of Misawa's passing. I hate that.
Yes, yes. It was.
Misawa died basically because over time he gave himself, he decapitated himself. Basically, his neck was so fucked up, it contributed to his death.
Yes. I believe it. Because Dominion was on the 9th. I believe it was on the actual anniversary.
These apron spots have to stop. They have to.
They can be done right, but what Naito and that not that kind of apron spots like, and of course Michael Cole would be in the background like It's the hardest spot of the mat. Like, no shit, Sherlock. But I'll quit talking about this so I don't spoil stuff for Matt when he's watching on Access. I mean, he's got my login. I don't know why he doesn't just watch live or when he gets free time. Oh yeah, he's trying to take over a company. He doesn't
Well, that's
have
the
free
thing.
time.
That's the thing. I don't have free time anymore.
I know. It's up to you, Matt, if you want me to keep going through the card or.
You can keep going through the card.
Okay. I was at the Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Taguchi go over the Bullet Club.
I mean, I did hear though that Mox was going to Climax. Is that not right?
That's later after the podcast, sir. That's maybe depends on how Candace is feeling.
I meant the G1 Climax.
So we get Tachi defending.
You got dirty minds in this podcast. That's all I'll say.
Most definitely.
And I will say this much: this goes back to AA, and she's the CSS pool. Like not CS, like she started this long ago. Like,
you were the worst, sir.
Who do you think corrupted you guys? And who do you think corrupted me? I got it from her.
Hey, no. I live in the gutter. That was way before CSS.
Well, this is true.
Well, as long as the cesspool wasn't shallow. As long as you don't go off the deep end, I guess it'll be fine.
We'll finish the Dominion card tomorrow. So how about them iconic duo people, whatever that Peyton and friend person?
I do have to say, I think they ended yet another undefeated streak. Nothing but respect for my tag team champions.
I set myself up every time.
The best tag team in San Jose. If that's not impressive, I don't know what.
With that, everybody, I think I'm just now going to walk away because I choose to not be a part of this anymore. It is 12:15 my time, so I actually will leave and let you guys talk about the things you want to talk about.
Maybe we don't want you to leave.
And AA story again. Anyway, let's call it a night. AA. I'll have to text her. Hold on. Go ahead and start giving your shit.
You guys can find me at PWFan01 on Twitter and KHIC in the daily and then the nightly. Sorry for starting a little bit later than usual. That's on me. My computer, for some reason, didn't want to get things going, so that's why I'm on my phone tonight. So the late start's on me. I apologize. And I can't wait to get back to it tomorrow. So thanks again, everyone. And I'm actually going to go ahead and get out of here.
You got to wait for AA.
But I got to go.
I don't think she's...
Potty break?
No, she's asleep.
I meant Adam, but...
Oh. Potty all the time. Potty all the time.
Sir, that sounds like a personal problem.
AA.
What?
Oh. Take us home, AA. We'll continue this tomorrow.
Well, where can they find everyone?
They already know where they can find me.
They can find me. at Fireman6809 on Twitter. Matt?
Matt, I know you. Matt?
Matt shows up. Matt shows up, and we're like, nope, we're out. No more Iconics talk.
What was that?
Where can they find you?
Where they can find you.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we really need to go home. I mean, who says you can't go home? There's only one place they call me one of their own. Just a hometown boy, born a Rolling Stone.
Oh, good.
I mean,
That's a long ass Twitter name.
You can find me on Twitter at MoMat15, the host thing on K-Side States and on the daily and the nightly. And hopefully, Friday nights, me and the Angel will finally take a look at Taboo Tuesday 2004.
Nice.
Maybe.
Where can they find you and us, AA?
Fans going up the Browns win their next game.
They can find me at Lady Rashana on Twitter, or you could find me Violent Wrestling Podcast, no G, on Twitch.
I always forget my Twitch. I'm at MoxMOX_VWP on Twitch.
Boy, that just means it's getting better.
Oh God.
You don't need to go to the doctor anymore. It's cured.
Oh, that is so wrong.
You're not right, sir. I hope you're ready for Morris to kick your butt some more tonight. All right, guys. We'll do more WWE talk tomorrow. Continue the Dominion card, stuff like that. Thanks for listening, and thanks for bearing with us during our week hiatus. I'm sure we missed you guys more than you missed us, but we love you all.
Take us home, Ella.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.